If you want to boost your personal growth, your development, then you need to understand what tools from therapy you can use in your own life to achieve that. And that's because therapy is exactly the place where people come for personal development, for growth, for change, for overcoming things. But there's no reason that you can't take those tools and use it in your own life. So your task is to understand which tools from therapy exactly can lead to 10xing your personal development, and then your task is to use those tools in your own life. And in this video, I'm going to describe 5 of those tools and exactly how to use them in your own life. The first tool is mindfulness meditation. Mindfulness meditation is basically the art of noticing your moment-to-moment experience without judgment, whether it's internal experiences or external experiences. And this is really useful for personal development for 2 main reasons. The first reason is that if you are aware of what's going on for you, then you're better able to change what's going on for you. Awareness is the first step to any sort of change you want to bring in your life. But the second reason it's really important for personal development is because the more you practice noticing your internal experience, the less reactive you'll be to it. In other words, you'll be more behaviorally flexible rather than just being controlled by your constant flow of thoughts, emotions, and wherever your attention goes. So how do you practice mindfulness meditation in your own life? Basically, I would recommend YouTubing guided meditations. But for now, try this quick mindfulness exercise with me. Find a quiet spot to sit. Close your eyes. And then just start to notice what your breathing feels like in this moment. Don't change it in any way, but just allow yourself to feel what it feels like. Feel it in your body. Every time you breathe in, feel what that feels like, the movement in your chest and your belly. Every time you breathe out, notice the same. And start to notice the space between breaths, where in-breath turns into out-breath and out-breath turns into in-breath. Then start to notice the sounds that you hear while still being aware of this movement. Notice the sounds near, far, and even beyond that. And then when you're ready, you can open your eyes, and congrats, you've tried a quick mindfulness exercise with me. Now, if you're looking to 10x your personal development, another powerful tool from therapy is called cognitive reappraisal, which is basically the process of changing the way that you think about something. This is extremely useful, and it's basically what self-help people and personal development gurus speak about when they speak about the importance of changing your thinking, the power of your thinking, the importance of shifting your mindset. All of that refers to this underlying process of, can you change what you're thinking about? Can you change the way that you're thinking about something? That is what cognitive reappraisal is, and it's an extremely useful tool because, as Benjamin Disraeli once said, you need to nurture your mind because it sets the limits of how high you can climb. What you think about consumes your mind, and what consumes your mind controls your life. So you need to have a tool that helps you change your thinking. So if you want to break through the limits of your own thinking, if you want to move beyond it, then a specific kind of thought pattern that you can nurture is this. What is the opportunity that's in front of me? And that's an extremely useful thought pattern because it forces you to ask yourself what you can get out of the situation. It's a very different way of thinking from thinking that the world is unfair or that people are treating you unfairly. Is rather asking, what is the opportunity here? Because whether it's a good event or bad event in your life, there will be an opportunity. If it's good, you have the opportunity to savor the experience, and if it's bad, you have the opportunity to learn something. People who are intolerable teach us tolerance and patience. When we are in situations that are difficult, we learn resilience, we learn the ability to problem solve, and the list goes on. So see if you can nurture that thinking pattern. What is the opportunity here? Now, a third tool from therapy to 10x your personal development would be something known as distress tolerance. Your ability to fully feel your feelings, your ability to tolerate distress without reacting to it is going to determine the quality of your life. And it's also going to set limits on your personal development that don't need to be there. And why is that? It's basically because people who can't tolerate distress, people who can't sit with uncomfortable feelings, try to numb those feelings. And when they try to numb those feelings, they get themselves in trouble because the methods we use to numb our feelings aren't always helpful to us. They aren't always constructive. They don't always lead to personal development. These are things like alcohol, stress eating, drugs, getting into arguments with people. These are all ways that people try to get away from uncomfortable feelings. And that is not helpful to us. So we need to learn how to tolerate the stress without reacting to it. The fourth tool to accelerate your development is to ask yourself what your social support network looks like and how you can build it. We become the people we surround ourselves with. Addicts surround themselves with more addicts. People who are judgmental and critical of others will gravitate toward people who are also critical and judgmental, people they can gossip with. And that is true, but you can use that fact to your own advantage, because if you know that other people's character will bleed into yours, you can intentionally decide who you're going to surround yourself with. Who are the people that you're going to let into your inner circle? Because then you can do that in an intentional way, and you can surround yourself with people who will accelerate your personal development. More specifically, in therapy, we recommend that you build your social network in this way. Build your tribe around shared interests and shared values. That is how you should build your tribe, around the things that matter to you and the things that you want to develop in. This is really important because if you don't want to meet people who constantly club all the time, then don't meet people at clubs. If you don't want to meet people whose lives revolve around alcohol, don't meet them at bars. That's not to say that everyone who clubs or drinks alcohol at bars, that their lives revolve around that, but the chances are increased. If you're interested in books, then go to book events, join a book club, join a Facebook group on literature, and then connect to people there. That is how you start to build your tribe in an intentional way around shared interests and values. The fifth and final tool from therapy to develop yourself is to think about how to develop your willpower. Willpower is your ability to do the harder thing when the easy thing is not the right thing to do. Let me say that again. Willpower is your ability to do the harder thing when the easy thing is not the right thing to do. And there's no way that you can engage in personal development without developing your willpower as well. Because if you think about it, personal development in any life domain, whether it be health, wealth, recreation, or relationships, will require you to do the harder thing at times, because it's easier to eat the donut. It's easier to disconnect from loved ones if you're away from them. It's easier not to apply for the job you really want. So personal development requires the development of willpower. So how can you develop your willpower? Your ability to do the harder thing when the harder thing is the right thing to do. Well, it basically comes down to three fundamentals. And the first fundamental is sleep, second is diet, third is exercise. So those three fundamentals are really important, because if you get 8 hours of sleep, you have more willpower the next day. If you eat a low GI plant-based diet, then your blood level doesn't fluctuate as much as it would with someone who has poor willpower. So you make better decisions. And then when you exercise, you also increase the flow of blood to the brain and to the prefrontal cortex, which helps you control yourself. But above and beyond those three fundamentals, you also want to connect to your future self. You want to visualize them and imagine what you could do now that would be good to them, because that increases your will to be good to the person that will be your future. So there you have it. If you want to 10x your personal development, learn how to change your thinking, learn how to construct your tribe around shared interests and values, learn how to develop your willpower, learn how to tolerate distress, and learn how to meditate. If you do those 5 things, my friend, it will be really difficult not to develop.